Okay, so as you remember from the last video, we just finished creating the base pentagon for the dodecahedron. Okay, now for this one, the first thing we want to do is we want to sketch on the same plane that we sketched our original pentagon on. And we're going to use the palette again and insert another pentagon. And we'll close that and accept. And we're not going to change this just yet. What we're going to do first is we're going to use a sketch reference, and we're going to grab a couple of vertexes. That one and that one. This is just one of those properties of a dodecahedron that if you really look into it, you can find quite a few of these interesting math tricks. But this is, you draw a line across between those two new vertex points, and once the line's drawn, you press and hold the right click and the menu will appear, and you want to make this line a construction line. Now construction lines don't actually have any impact on the sketch. When you accept the sketch, they won't show up, but what they will do is they will allow you to take references, and in this case we want this base edge dimension to be the same as this, so we can use a constraint which will go over here. We want to pick equal, so we want to say that this line is equal to that, and we're going to delete that constraint. So now if we zoom out, you can see that these points are in line with each other, and if you don't believe me, I can draw a line for you. They're perfectly in line with each other. So now we can accept that sketch, the default orientation. Now we're not going to fill this in because this sketch is only going to be for reference purposes. Now you can see that this point and this point are in line with this right datum plane, and this should be the case unless you've decided to orient yours in a different direction or a sketch on a different plane. But in this case we're going to sketch on this right datum, and we're going to start building the upper dodecahedron. Now as you can see, it doesn't really look like much here, but if you use the middle mouse and pan over to the side, you can see that the sketches are there. You just can't see them from the side because they're just lines. Now we're going to use again the sketch references, and from the pull down we'll grab a vertex again. We want that vertex, and we want that vertex. So we'll click this button here, or go view orientation sketch, and that'll put us back here. We're going to use the construction lines again, so we're going to draw a line from that vertex straight out in either direction. It's really up to you, and down to that point. Middle mouse click to close those out, and we're going to make this line here construction because we don't really need it for anything, just to make sure that this is vertical and in line with that point. And now this isn't the dimension. I want this dimension here, because if you look, if you can imagine folding up another pentagon here, 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 where all the edges touch, there's going to be an edge line right here, and we're going to use this to create our datum plane that we're going to then sketch our next pentagon on. So we're going to go over here to the dimension tool and click, and then just middle mouse click out here somewhere, and now it gives you the dimension. Now if you remember in the first video, we set our base as 2 inches, meaning this edge length is 2 inches. Now it also means that all of these edge lengths are 2 inches, so when you fold up another pentagon here, it's going to have an edge along here. These two, this one and this one, are going to have a shared edge along here that's 2 inches. So now that that's done, we can accept that, and we'll go back to default orientation. So now you can see we have this here, and we don't need to bother to do it here and here and here and here, because once we're done drawing the one, we can simply use the pattern tool, which is extremely useful. But we want to use a circular pattern tool. So what we need for that is we're going to axes, and it just asks up here, select up to 2 references. So I want an axis that's going to go through this point, and holding the control key, I pick this datum as well, and now it's created this axis that's in the center of the sketch. So we'll accept that. Oh, I turn these back on. Up here you can see there's all these different things. You can shut off datum planes, and you can shut off annotation and spin centers and things like that. But in this case, I want to keep them all on. So now you can see that the axis I just created there, and now I'm going to create a new datum plane, which is this guy here, which we use to sketch on. So we'll click datum plane, and we'll pick that sketch we just picked, and holding the control key we'll pick this bottom edge. So now if we accept that, you can see that it's created a datum plane using those two edges, which for us to sketch on now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go sketch, and we're going to choose this datum, click sketch, and I'm going to pick some references, and I'm going to pick some edges again, or some vertexes, sorry. Without references, the sketches can tend to be undefined, and we'll see. Hopefully I picked all the right ones here. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is use the palette again. I'm going to insert another pentagon, and we're not going to constrain anything yet. And we're going to go over here again to the constraint palette. We're going to pick this one here, which is coincident, and we're going to pick that vertex and that vertex. And then we'll pick this one and this one, and we're going to delete that dimension and that constraint. Now you can see here that this is along the same edge. So if we click accept and go here, now you can see we have another pentagon, and again we're going to just go and highlight it, edit, fill. And now in this case, I want to take that sketch and that fill, using the control key, select them over here. And I'm going to right click and go group. And so now it's created this local group. And as you can see now, the pattern tool over here has become available. So we'll click on that while this pattern was, or while the group was still highlighted. And we want a axis pattern. And we want to select that axis, and now here it's showing every 90 degrees they're going to put one. So up here I want to change that to 5, and here I don't want every 90 degrees. I want it to be 360 degrees divided by 5, because I want 5 total. And you can actually input these functions like this, and it will create them. So if I hit the enter key now, it's said every 72 degrees it's going to place one. So if I accept that, now you can see we have the bottom half of a dodecahedron.